Yes. Get down in there. Shirk off the defender.
Holy smokes, did he get high? Oh, that's right. Lift that bag of potatoes if you got to inside.
Hit on a reach around.
But boy, did it look good in real time.
All right. Welcome to our Christmas Eve edition of Plain White Toast NBA Picks. We have a 5-game slate for the Christmas holiday, of course, tomorrow. I have with me my compadres, my partners in crime. Of course, we have to the right of me, the squiggy to my Lenny, Mr. Jake the Snake Pliskin. How are you, Jake?
Wonderful. Merry Christmas.
You're handsome as ever, my man. Handsome as ever. And Cody, the mouth, the brain. How are you, my man?
Doing good. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Should we talk NBA?
Let's do some hoops.
Bada bing.
Hooping on Christmas is the best thing that exists in the world, if you ask me.
Quick survey question for both of you, and then we'll get started. Thanksgiving football or Christmas Day basketball? You can only choose one. Choose wisely.
I'm going Christmas Day basketball. It's loaded.
Yeah, no question.
It's loaded with marquee matchups. It's way better than NFL. NFL has the Lions on every fucking year. Like, the Lions are always dog shit.
And the Cowboys, yeah, which are usually dog shit. That's a shout out to my brother Malcolm. Yeah, I would as well. They always have marquee matchups, like you said, and Thanksgiving is It's just you're so tired from tryptophan and turkey and shit that you just you end up falling asleep on the couch anyway. All right.
Now, if you're a good boy all year, you'll get a little Van Gundy in your ear on Christmas, and that's what I hope to get tomorrow.
I hope not to get that. I might mute it, but I'm not a Van Gundy voice fan. I like the man, but the voice is that's something entirely different. All right, so we got a 5-game slate here. We're just gonna run right down here, guys. I'm gonna ask you all for just to let you folks know out there in the ethos how we're gonna be running this here for going out is anything with 5 games or more. I think anything relevant. We're gonna put out some podcasts, give you guys our thoughts, break down some analytics for you, and help you decide what your best course of action is. So, as with anything else, use this as a stepping stone. You should never trust and rely on one single source. It's never a smart idea to put all your baskets or all your podcasts in one basket. So, with my little disclaimer,
all your baskets into one egg.
Yeah,
that's
exactly,
what you're gonna say.
All right. So tomorrow, of course, Christmas Day, we have for starters at noon Eastern time on ESPN, the New Orleans Pelicans versus the Miami Heat. Right now, Vegas has the Heat at -5 with an over/under at 226. And just let me go ahead and, with that said, Cody, let me go ahead and toss it over to you. Talk to me about this game. What do you like? Who's your picks? Talk to us.
Just looking at it, basing a lot of just a small snapshot of what I've seen. Miami kind of came out like they kind of looked tired their last game. Looking at the spread, I like what New Orleans is doing over there. I think they have some firepower. And I noticed on Roto World that Butler might not play tomorrow. He's questionable. So I don't know if those odds are with that in mind. I have to assume with Vegas. But the way I view it, I'm taking the Pelicans at the +5. I think they're going to be able to cover, and it should be a close game. And I think I'll call that the Pelicans will actually beat Miami.
Really? Okay. All right. I like that. We're already starting with some contrarians. What? Anything else to add to that one?
The only other thing I would note is I don't like the over-under too much. I think Stan Van Gundy's trying to press for more defense-orientated basketball with that New Orleans team. So for that to happen, you're looking at 113 points plus from one of the teams. So I think I'm going to go with the under on that at 226.
Yeah, I'd probably agree with you there. Especially, and that's so folks out there listening, obviously you want to stay on top of it to see if Butler plays, because that's going to change the dynamics from the over/under to the spread to just about everything, maybe even our picks. So we reserve the right then to to change at the last moment. Now, let me ask you real quick, Cody. If Butler plays, are you still taking the Pelicans?
I'm assuming Vegas is accounting for the Butler's going to play, but if he doesn't, then I think the spread will get to more of a pick 'em.
Are they touting it as a game time decision or what?
It's looking like it.
Is it just a rest day? It can't be a rest day. 2 games in.
He had sprained his ankle, so he had to sit out a little bit from last game against the Magic. So he still played 36 minutes, and Butler's one of those guys that does play through pain. But like, say he does play and he is injured, especially like an ankle, like that's going to affect his shooting, his playmaking ability. So it might be more of a detriment depending on the severity of it.
To have him on the court, you mean?
Yeah.
That's a good vantage point. I did not know that, but that's great to know. Jake, talk to me, buddy. Talk to me about this first game here.
Well, I actually I like Cody's pick on this. I'm going the Pelicans as well. Zion has arrived, and
I love that kid.
Dude, he's incredible, and he's been playing very, very, very good basketball. Tomorrow is the biggest venue, the biggest showcase in the professional world for Zion so far, other than his debut. And a Christmas Day game is such a stage for the young fella that he's going to show out, and he's going to be exciting to watch. This is one of the games you're going to want to see. You're going to have to set the alarm. Well, I guess you're going to be up early because of the damn kids, but no, I'm going Zion Williamson and the Pelicans, and I think I also think it's going to be under.
Yeah. I think we're probably all going to be in agreement that the 226 is pretty high for these teams here. So a quick note, real quick for the listeners out there, as most analysts do, Cody and I, we rely on a lot on, especially this early in the season, on historical analytics to forecast the early parts of the NBA season. It's often the most accurate way to really ascertain the trends that drive our decision making. Personally, myself, I start to migrate over, and Cody, you may be a little bit different with it, but I start to migrate over to the current analytical data, usually about the 30th game or so of the season. Now, it's a bit with the COVID season the way it is, who the hell knows how many games they're going to play. So that might change, fluctuate up and down, but it's usually on a normal NBA season. It's usually about the 30th game or so. I start to migrate all that information to the current data. Does that sound about for you, Cody?
Yeah, I would tend to agree with that. I think it gives you enough of a snapshot to really get an idea what the team is about. At that point, like usually most of the teams have had some type of adversity that they've dealt with. That they're more or less set in stone to what you should expect to see out of them day in, day out.
Yeah, absolutely. And everyone has their own process for that, but that's pretty much I don't want to say the industry standard. So, but that's usually right around the 30th game or so. You can really start to kind of get a snapshot of what's going on there. I will say that the Pelicans look good in their opener. I think they racked up a 14-point victory against the Raptors. Now, with that said, a couple of things stand out to me, and I wanted to talk about them here real quick. The Pelicans have failed to cover the spread in 8 of their last 10 meetings with the Heat, and the Heat are incredibly tough at home. I don't know what it is about down there in Miami, but they sport a 70+ win ratio percentage at home.
Consider that maybe a lot of that data is with fans in the stands too. It's hard to determine how much impact the actual crowd has in a home game. I think it's significant.
Yeah,
I would say so. And then you got to figure travel too. Like so, each state's going to require different restrictions of what you can go out and do. So I know Florida is one of the more lax ones. So typically, historically, you would say Miami is a tough spot to go play in because it's Miami. It's has quite the nightlife. So how many guys do you think they get the benefit of maybe having a few too many drinks the night before? Then they got to go play the next day. Mm-hmm. So
Harden,
as someone who waited in line at Luke Campbell's club for 2+ hours to get in and buy drinks for $11 a piece in the early 90s, I can attest that it's a hell of a city. I love Miami, but I'll tell you what, a 70+ win ratio at home, Now, you guys talked about it earlier. The teams failed to reach 226 total in total points, which coincidentally was the over under for their season openers, which is just strange that all three of them now are the same numbers, but they both had failed to meet in their opening games. So I'm relying confidently on these stats alone, guys. And I'll tell you what, I'm taking the Heat -5, and I'm taking, of course, the under at 226. Now, I was going to make this the Gambino lock of the week, which is ironclad. However, it's contingent on whether or not Butler plays. If Butler doesn't play, I may, in fact, switch over to these guys over here and actually take the Pelicans. It's, again, a game time decision. We'll just have to follow it. But as it stands now, I'm going on the premise that Butler is, in fact, going to play. And that, of course, they're going to hit the under of 226. And I am going to make the Gambino's lock of the week. I'm going to, I'm going to throw caution to the wind. Why not? So I will say, open up your presents, fake excitement over the wool socks that your Nana brought you, and call your book. Drop in the Red Point or your casino of your choice in Vegas, Reno, wherever you may roam. Slam that money down on the counter. You look them square in the eyes. You tell them, this is a goddamn lock. Gambino said so. Up after that, it looks as though, again, that's 12 p.m. Eastern time, guys, on ESPN. 10 o'clock for you turkeys out there. At 2:30 on ABC, we got Golden State versus the Milwaukee Bucks. The Bucks are -9 with an over and under of 232. Jake, start us off here, my man. Who do you like in this matchup and why?
At -9, I'm going Warriors. I'm going to say the Warriors are going to get a victory, which is kind of a little bit surprising, but for some. But I'm telling you what, at 9. I think it's all right. Plus, this is a Steve Kerr coached Warriors team that just lost their opener, so I think they're going to have and Steph Curry's going to have something to prove here. He doesn't want to go down 2 right away, so yeah. And then what was the over under?
The over under on that one, brother, was 232.
232. Yeah. So I've got under on that.
I've got
one
under on that one as well. Yeah, it's which is kind of strange with the Warriors to pick them to win and go under, but I feel like the Warriors are in a good position to get a victory tomorrow.
Wow. Okay. All right. That's a bit contrarian. I mean, I mean, you got the underdog on that one. Okay. Let me ask you real quick here, just for the folks out there, what prompted you to take Golden State?
I'm a momentum guy, right? I see what they've just done and who they have. I mean, we could look at the stats. The Bucks are a tough team. They're not my favorite though. I mean they've disappointed a lot. I don't know. I mean it could go either way, but at -9, I feel like the main reason is I feel like that they were kind of embarrassed in the opener. And this is still got world champion pedigree on this squad, so I feel like they're gonna come back. That's what I base it on.
Okay, all right, I like it, man. All right. So, what about you, Cody? Talk to me. Who do you like in this second game?
I'm just gonna go with Milwaukee I'm gonna take Milwaukee with the points. So what? They're favored by 9.
Yes.
So, and I think they're gonna go over on the 232 mark. I think that this game really just comes down to firepower. And if Golden State proved to me anything, their last game, that they didn't have the firepower to keep up with Brooklyn. Milwaukee's one of the more potent offensive teams that got better theoretically by the addition of Drew Holiday. That I think Milwaukee's going to run them out off the court. So the other point I'd make for the over is Golden State's still pretty efficient offensively, so they'll be able to put up points in garbage time. But Milwaukee, with their depth, I think even if Giannis doesn't play the fourth quarter, that team's still going to be able to shoot really well. Still keep adding to those points. So,
yeah, that's good insight. I like that. Golden State, they gave up 125 points defensively against the Nets in their opener, and it's really, I mean, you can make an equal argument that the Nets are that good at one game in. Mixed with Golden State is maybe that bad. It's a little bit from column A, a little bit from column B. I mean, I do think it's a new Nets team. I really do. But I know after watching the game, it was Curry and Curry in a hurry, and that was just about it. I mean, that really was. After that, it just seemed to drop off the side of the cliff. Giannis and the Bucks, man, they flew 20 points over their projected over/under in their opener. They shot 51% from the field, 41% from beyond Thunderdome. With Giannis, they're scoring, I think, 35? I can't remember how many boards he got, but Middleton had a huge game. He almost pulled out a triple-double, 27 points, 14 boards, 8 assists. The Bucks have won 9 of their last 11 versus teams from the Pacific Division. So it's no big secret. I am taking the Bucks, even with that huge -9 deficit. And like you, Cody, I'm taking the over at 232. All right. Anything else you guys want to add to that game there?
No, I'm good on that.
All right. I may catch up on a nap right about that time there and get prepared for Game 3. This one here, this one here may be my favorite game of the day to watch. I mean, it's a full day of basketball. I don't even think of it now in my boxer shorts. All right. So Game 3, we have the Nets versus the Celtics in Boston. The Nets are -3 with an over/under of 228. That's 5 p.m. Eastern time on ABC. Cody, let me kick it back to you, brother. Who do you like in this Nets Celtics matchup? It's going to be a hell of a game. I mean, it's a tight line. It's I'm excited about this game. Talk to me about it. Who do you like? What about the over/under? Give me some input here.
This one's probably the hardest one on the slate to call. I look at it as there's a lot of compelling things going on. Kyrie coming back to Boston, going to want to kind of stick it to him, especially the way he was kind of treated on his way out. Yeah.
Good insight. I like that.
And I think, Durant's still on that mission to prove himself that he's still old Kevin Durant. I look at Boston as someone like Jaylen Brown is looking to pretty much leapfrog himself into all-star status. He looked great the game against Milwaukee. So I think I'm going to stick with Boston on this one. I think that maybe some of Kyrie's old teammates are going to kind of want to stick it to him and kind of show him, this is what you're missing out on right now.
They are going to bring their A game. That's for damn sure.
Yeah.
Not only because it's Christmas, because I think they want to shove it down Kyrie's crazy ass. I will say the Celtics. So I'm sorry. So just so we have it for posterity, you're taking the Celtics.
Yes.
+3. Okay. All right. This is one of those games. You are absolutely right, Cody. I mean, when I was going back and forth with it, I'm like, from doing some research on it, the Celtics failed to cover the spread in 6 of their last 10 meetings with Brooklyn. Now, as good as Boston looked in their opener offensively on Wednesday, they looked equally as bad on defense, giving up 121 points. And, of course, this is against the Bucks that we just talked about, allowing that 51% from the field and 40% from beyond the arc there. Despite all that, though, I want to go with Boston, but that's likely due, as I mentioned earlier, to me being a Sixers fan and them having some sort of Marie Laveau type gypsy curse on me, where I have mentally the Sixers can't get over the Celtics hump. And as a fan, I myself can't get over it. I don't know how many times I've been in a bar, half drunk, just wallowing in my sorrows as I watch them blow a 13-point lead, with 6 minutes left in the fourth quarter. And bam, there you go. Celtics are moving on and Philly's going home. So it was really tough to push all of that aside and not go with Boston. I am going to take the Nets minus, I believe it's now up to 3. It was 2.5 earlier today, but now it is up to 3. I will say, though, any more than that, even when I saw the bump in Vegas going from 2.5 to 3, I was like, that made it even worse. But I'll tell you what, though, I won't be laying any cash on this game, guys. It's bound to be a barn burner, and I find that I don't enjoy the game if I have money on it. I get too stressed out about it, and this is one of those games that I want to relax. I just want to enjoy the game itself. So I will take the Nets -3, and I will say on the over/under for that. I'm taking you over at 228. Yeah, I'm taking you over. So my pick for that would be the Nets -3 and the over at 228.
Well, let me tell you something that you didn't, neither of you mentioned. That is probably the main factor. It's the sage that is going to be burnt before the game, and so yeah. Well, and that's going to sway the gods of deciding this. The Nets are going to take this one. There's too much firepower. It would have been a great matchup had there been fans in the stands tomorrow. That's what makes a return like this really juicy on Christmas. That would have been really a fun one to look forward to. Instead, we still watch them, but not with the packed in excitement. So I'll just say New Jersey. I'm so used to New Jersey. I'll say Brooklyn is going to win that with that 3. I'll take that, and then we're going to go under. I'm going to say it's going to be under.
Factoring that in.
Yeah.
There's so many variables, right? Especially in this COVID environment, there's so many things. I mean, like you had mentioned, if there were fans in the seats, that would significantly change my opinion. Cody, probably yours as well. I mean, because it is such.
Oh, they hate him over there.
He is a type that either sinks or swims under that type of.
If you'll have me back, I'll re-sign with the Boston Celtics. He says over the loudspeaker to their fans. Good work, bud.
Oh man, I really want to see the Vegas over/under on how long it takes Kyrie to just completely lose it. I mean, just completely, because that the reporters are just going to keep egging him. He's only asking for this headache that's surely to ensue. All right, so that of course is the 5 p.m. Eastern game on ABC. Now we move into the primetime showdown. Of course, LeBron's got to be in the primetime. He's not going to accept anything less. Dallas Mavericks at the LA Lakers. Lakers right now, -6 with an over-under of 227.5. Now, folks, that was about, what time is it? That was about 5 p.m. Eastern time today. And then a check again at 7 p.m. as far as the Vegas odds. And the only one I had seen change was the one I mentioned earlier. So as of right now, but you always want to check it. Again, don't rely on one simple source. Don't put all your baskets in one egg. Luka scored 32, and he looked really good. I mean, but right out of the gate, this is also you had mentioned earlier with who did you have mentioned earlier? Zion with a showcase kind of game. Yep. Same thing for Luka. It is his time to shine, and he is Zion, several others. They are the future. They're the ones that are carrying the torch, so to speak. So these games or these dates, I should say, on these special occasions are going to be the times when they need to step up as superstars, But Lucas, like I said, scored 32 in the opener. He looked really well. Looked really good, I should say. We covered the Lakers in our last one in their loss to the Clippers. It's prime time. It's Christmas. And you know what that means, of course. As I mentioned, the king will rise in Jerusalem. LeBron was engineered in a lab for a game just like this one. So expect the Lakers to rebound and look more like the reigning champs that they are. But that Vegas spread of -6 in LA is eating at me. I will say, much like that Nets and Celtics, I'm sitting. I'll tell you what. Much like that Nets and Celtics game, I'm sitting this one out as far as money's concerned. I'll enjoy it for what it is. I recommend our listeners probably do the same. Really, I mean, it's not necessary for you to bet on every single game. You degenerate sons of bitches. Okay, you can take it, but you know what? We do have those LA fans that have to bet either for or against the Lakers. But for those degenerate gamblers, myself included, who just have to place those bets, I would advise you to take the Mavs and the 6 points. I don't see this game outside that 6-point range. And again, that's subject to change, that line itself. Check day of game, before, of course you will, before you make the bets. But like I said, I don't see it outside that 6-point range. If it drops it off from the 6 points, though, it's just as easy to make the case for the reigning NBA champs. So really, with that, I am going to go with the Mavs +6 and a 227.5. I'm going on the over on that one. I think it's going to be a barn burner, much like the Celtics and Nets game. I think it's going to be back and forth. And I think, honestly, that Dallas may come out and actually pull out the victory. Again, we'll see. We'll see. And a lot of that factors in, like you had mentioned earlier, Jake, about there's no fans, This is the time, like, people love it. I got tickets on Christmas Day to see the Lakers, They're playing Luka and the Mavericks. Now everyone's sitting at home. And it's almost like a cemetery when you're watching the games, It's like, they muted the entire stadium. It's surreal in so many ways. I can only imagine for these cats that are actually out there playing, whether they either focus or fold due to just the absolute silence, But yeah, I would if there was asses in the seats, I would likely be changing my tune board. But 6 points, I don't see it being that wide a gap. And I see maybe Dallas even taking the game. So, but in any event, I'm taking Dallas +6, and I'm taking the over on it. Jake, talk to me about him. What do you think?
I mean, Luka is somebody to never bet against. I just love him. I think he's got a real shot at the MVP this year. That being said, one of the biggest problems for this Mavericks team is closing out close games. They have had trouble with it going back to last season. Where just real close games are kind of their Achilles heel. Case in point, for their first game there of the season, they ran into a new look Suns team that is going to be the Cinderella story of the season this year for the NBA.
Now, is it their inability, Jake, to close out games? Does that stem from execution, or does that stem from a mental hurdle that they just can't seem to get over?
Here it is. I'll tell you what it is. At least from my perspective, is that it's one of the stepping stones every young team that is coming into their own has to go through. It's one of the very first steps in becoming a veteran squad. Contender is that it's like one of the first things that that young players can't really seem to get down is those crunch time moments and when you're swapping punches at the end, towards the end of the fourth quarter, if you to stay up on your feet and to stick around. So they'll get there, and they might get there this season. They're going to kind of try and have to learn how to close out these close games. I don't think they're there yet. Especially against the champs on Christmas, there's a lot going against them. I take LA. And I'm going to go under.
Gotcha. I knew I was going to be contrarian on this one. Cody, I'd really like to get your input on this one here.
Yeah.
Is +6, is that a realistic number, do you think, or do you think that someone can sneak in there with a contrarian pick?
I think for this to happen, like, Dallas would have to have all their role players really step up and execute and not rely so heavily on Luka. Like, one thing I had seen last night's game is that Luka's stat line looked really good, but if you watch the game, like, it was very much forced 30-plus points out of him.
Yeah.
He didn't shoot the best way, but everything had to go through that kid, and it just seemed like the role players were really struggling to kind of hit their groove. So the way kind of my viewpoint on it is, I think the Lakers are going to want to make sure they get in the win column. Dallas doesn't necessarily have the firepower, so to speak, to keep up with that Lakers team. And I can very easily foresee this game going to blowout status.
Really?
It could be, it's one of those, it's going to be like a blowout, or it's going to be like a nail biter. Like, I don't think it's going to be anything like in between that. So I just think the burden that Luka has to carry with that team until Porzingis gets back, it might be a little bit too much against some of these tougher teams like the Lakers. And kind of to Jake's point too, is like, with these younger teams learning how to win in crunch time moments, like it's kind of like, I feel like that Dallas is playing checkers to the Lakers chess. Like, they haven't gotten over that hump yet. And I think eventually they will. I think they're poised to do it. It just it's a lot of these younger teams, that's kind of the path they have to go on. They have to build their basketball acumen up, and I just don't think Dallas is quite there yet. So, but
Yeah.
With the spreads in mind, I'm going to go with the Lakers at -6. I think I'm going to go under on the 227. It's 227.5, correct?
Yes. As of this podcast.
Yeah, I think I'll go under on that. And a side note is I don't believe I did over under on that Boston Brooklyn game. Just to clarify, I'm going to go on the over route on that one.
Okay. Well, of course, folks, each week or, whenever we do the slates, 5 or more, we'll go ahead and make sure that we have them posted on the channel itself. So you can kind of keep track as well, along with the win percentages. So you can see, root for your favorite Plain White Toast podcast member, so to speak. You know what, guys? You know what? You're damn near, both of you. You made great points with regards to Dallas stepping up for it. My ego won't allow me to say that I'm wrong, but I will say that if I was persuaded by any conversation that we've had since the start of the podcast, both of you picking the Lakers and being so confident about it only makes me 100% confident that the Dallas Mavericks are going to win this game.
It can go either way. It really can. You never know.
Well, yeah, you're right. It's quite the stage to ask Luka to step up, especially on Christmas, without Porzingis in the game. It really is. It's a lot to ask, and Cody, you're absolutely right. They have to hit on all 8 cylinders for all 4 quarters, and that's how you beat the champs. But they know it every single time. We talked about this in the last podcast. Every single team that comes to LA or LA comes to them, that is their marquee game. They have that circled on their calendar. And this one here, early enough, they are bringing their A game because they know they have to. They are playing against the champs. And just to beat the champs, even in a fluctuating league like the NBA is, they know that they have to bring their A game day in and day out. And that win is a marquee win, even 2 games into the season. So it's going to be a great game. Tomorrow's going to be just a great day for basketball. Oh yeah, and it's Christmas as well. So Finally, guys, we have the Will Gambino be up to watch the game late night ESPN 10:30 Eastern time. The LA Clippers versus the Denver Nuggets. LA are as of this podcast, we'll say 5 p.m. They are 1.5 point favorites on the road with a 224 over under. Let's start with the senior NBA analyst extraordinaire. Cody, tell me about this final matchup of the Christmas season. Tell me who's going to win. Are they going to hit the over? Are they going to hit the under? Talk to me.
So this is similar to that Brooklyn-Boston game. Is pretty much I think the 2 most compelling games we're going to see, like down to crunch time. You're going to see exciting plays from the superstars from all the respected teams. This one's really a coin toss in my eyes. Like I'm not too confident, as you've been saying too, Gambino, as far as kind of tucking away your wallet at a bet. This one might be one of those, like, just watch the game and enjoy it. Because I can see going either which way. I kind of lean more towards Denver, being that they're in the higher altitude in Colorado, that maybe they can catch the Clippers, kind of being a little sluggish up in the high altitude. I think that's,
they tend to be.
I think it's basically my tiebreaker between those 2 teams.
Wow.
But as far as the over under, are you showing 222?
224, right, as of right now. Are you showing something different?
I'm on this website called Covers, and I got 222 over here, but 224. I think I'm going to go the under on that one.
I got wow, that's fluctuating. I'm on Vegas Insider. Yeah, I've got everywhere from 222 to 224.5. And that's it's not surprising. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Finish what you were going to say, Cody, please.
Oh, I was just saying that I could see this kind of being more of a, not like a strict defensive type of matchup, but I think you'll be seeing a high pace through 3.5 quarters. But once you get down to the crunch time of the 4th, I think you're going to see a lot of slow it down, ISO, post up plays to kind of catch the other team slipping a little bit, and I think that's going to draw that total down.
Yeah, that's a great point. Let me kick it over. Oh, I'm sorry. So, who do you got? Over, under? It sounds like you're gonna push for the under then.
Yeah, I'm gonna go under, and I'm gonna take Denver.
I like that pick. Jake, talk to me, my man. LA Clippers, they looked amazing against the Lakers in their opener. They looked like a team possessed, as they tend to do against the champs. So talk to me. Who's turning out there to win at the last game of
the Clippers? Clippers are going to win this game.
You stood up with a lot of confidence.
Well, yeah, I like the way they played. I like the way they played in their game one. So they've got some momentum going. They're not the toughest mentally. And if you remember, they've got a little history with this Denver Nuggets team, and from last season. So let me tell you what, these guys are looking to start checking people off their list of people they need to get back. And next up is the Denver Nuggets, and that's a big checkbox that they really have been looking forward to. They've got a beef. And here's the other thing to consider is the best player on either of the teams is Kawhi Leonard. He's the top player. So I like that, but even I think I'm being swayed more than anything by the fact that that Jamal Murray is so inconsistent. I want to say that he's a superstar because he certainly played like that in the playoffs last season, but the guy's just he's not there. He's hot and cold. He's in, then he's out. I mean, I could sing the whole song for you, but I won't. I'm going Clippers, and I'm going to take the over on this one.
Okay, all right. I like that pick. That's a solid pick.
Yeah,
I will say though.
Sorry, Dad.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah,
Cody, jump in.
I totally undersold the fact that the Clippers having some they are really in that like payback mode. So I think that is a very good take. I'll keep my pick the way it is, but I could very easily when you talk about narrative driven stuff, I totally I see that point of view.
Now would be your time, Cody. If you want to trade your Snickers for a bag of potato chips, man.
I know.
Now's the time to do it, brother.
I'm gonna keep it. I'll keep it, but
all right, good.
Okay.
I like the take.
I guess I shall play tiebreaker. Well, before I get into it, we guys for three guys who study the game. I think Cody. I think without a doubt, you're the brain, and of course the talent of, but and you have Jake, you have insight that. It seems like it comes out of left field, but it makes so much sense that I don't even think of it. It doesn't even occur to me. I mean, the sage, of course that's going to factor in. But I will say with that I think that this is going to be one of those games that there's going to be a lot of cash coming through on the Clippers in lieu of that opening day performance against the Lakers. I think a lot of Vegas cash, and that could push the line. Sure. So that is, again, for the folks listening out there, I can't stress it enough. Well, you guys know it. If you're going into the casinos, make sure that when you're going in there that you know what the lines are, you know what where you're at, have a plan to go to. Never bet on all 5 games unless it's some sort of parlay or something like that. But again, it's your money. But I will say this, guys, they have failed, this being the Clippers, to hit their over and under numbers in 6 of their last 10 meetings versus Denver. And Denver's always tough at home. And it is. You guys live up in the Wasatch Mountains. You guys know what the elevation does, You ever go down that mountain, your ears pop. You feel sick to your stomach. I hate that. That's a route I hate to go. But I mean, you have to, that factors in. It always does, maybe throughout the course of the season, if you're in the same division as them, and you're meeting them several times, maybe you can get acclimated to it, but this early in the season, it's one of those where in the past they would show up, if they had the time, they would show up a day, maybe even 2 days early, to acclimate themselves to that climate, especially during the playoffs, we've seen it in years past, but, I will say, I think I'm going to kind of jump on with Cody here. I will say that again, I am not. I'm putting my wallet away for this one here as well. There's only, I think, 2 games that I'm actually going to be laying some money down on. This will not be one of them, though. Again, they're tough at home. Denver is. I don't just mean with this current roster, as I mentioned. They've always worked that altitude factor in their favor. So I think, honestly, Denver would be kind of a contrarian pick for that. And I'm going to go with them. I'm going to take the Nuggets, plus 1.5, and I'm going to take the over on this one at 224 is where I'm setting it now. 222 is even better. That definitely makes my mind up. But from what I'm seeing here on Vegas Insider, it's anywhere from 222 to 225. So we'll see what game time shows and stuff. But that's again, if you're a betting man, just keep your wallet in your pants for this one, But if you have to, I'm going Denver plus 1.5. I just think that the Clippers themselves, they match up really well with the Lakers, and they always play them tough. And again, Paul George and Kawhi Leonard looked amazing, but I think it's one of those early season victories that Denver's going to pull out.
Let me ask you guys. Let me bring this up to you two chumps that went against me on this last one. Did you guys see the game last night? I hope you at least checked it out because the Sacramento Kings came in there to the Mile High area there, and they battled the Sacramento Kings. One of the bottom dwellers I will bring up beat them in overtime. Went the distance. Way up there in the altitude, and they left with a 2-point victory against the Denver Nuggets. So I just want you guys to know that that's your bed, and you're gonna have to lie in it now.
I love it, man. You make decisions from your heart. I try the best, and I know Cody to make them from stats. I'm a stat nerd, but the stats they are just that. They're numbers. Yeah. I mean, I'm sticking with it, Mike. You may be right. And it's going to be a great game at the very least. But yeah, you're right. They came in and they battled them. I've seen a couple teams that we'll look at the Cavaliers, and they come out opening day with a W. I mean, it's Charlotte, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, Hayward, yeah, it's Cleveland, yeah. Folks out there listening, hit like and subscribe. Share this with all your friends. Keep with us as we go through 5+ game daily picks, as we break down analytically and from the heart, as the talent would do, to give you the most up-to-date and accurate information to help you decide.
Oh, I've got some breaking information that's just coming in. Santa Claus is still in Brazil.
Wait, have you seen the women there? Can you blame the dude?
He's going to go to Miami next to me. You're going to see him.
Oh, that is awesome. That is awesome.
How about next year we get the Jazz in one of these Christmas
No
games?
shit, thank you.
I think we're long overdue. I think we had one the year before, but
Is that?
I think it was our third one ever
Yeah.
that we ever played on Christmas.
It's a Mormon thing, is it not? I mean, am I a conspiracy theorist to say that it's a church sort of thing that's gone back for a long time to not put Utah on Christmas?
I wouldn't doubt it.
Thank you.
Who knows?
Like out here, people couldn't find Utah on a map. They,
You're that dumb out there, huh?
They
Well,
argue whether
your
it's
guys'
even
school
actual.
system isn't very good, huh?
Maybe so, man. Maybe so. But yeah. When I first moved out there, my brother's like, "Isn't that the state where you can have like 5 or 6 wives?" It's like, that sounds exhausting. I was like, yeah, it does. Yeah. That's
cool.
So that's it, guys. Let's
Nice
wrap
Christmas
it up here
fun.
so everyone
Wrap
can,
it up. I like
can
that.
get to bed.
Very good Christmas fun.
Help us help you. Like and subscribe. Pass it on to your friends. Roll it up and smoke it with everyone in town. So this is Gambino for Cody, our senior NBA correspondent, and of course the talent, Jake the Snake. We're signing off. Happy days, guys.
Merry
Merry
Christmas, guys.
Christmas.